How do you remain consistent as a content creator? Because creating consistent content is part process and part mindset. The process means the time, the workflows, and basically all the procedural stuff. And the mindset part involves your perspectives of your content and how you view yourself in relation to the creative process. Welcome to Rocz3D Studio. Today I want to share some ideas about the process of creating consistent content, because setting out your plan on paper is one thing, execution is a different beast altogether. And as a side note, when I restarted creating content for my channel, I had the idea to possibly have an end of month retrospective each month to share my perspectives and experience. This is the first of what may be a continuing thing, but only if there appears to be any value to you. Okay, let's get to the 5 elements to creating consistent content. First, determine the amount of time you have to devote to creating content. And this can be somewhat difficult if you don't know how long it takes for you to create. And of course, the obvious answer is to go ahead and create that thing, time yourself, and see how long it takes. And you can use this as a measure, and then you can block out your time accordingly. And the time it takes for you to create similar pieces of content will decrease as you evolve your skills and workflow. Second, plan ahead by batching your content. Try to have about 15 or more content ideas. The more the better. The more ideas you have listed out, the easier it is to see a thread or the bigger picture of your overall content. You may also see where similar ideas can be grouped and then schedule them to be posted in a cohesive series, for example. Listing out numerous topics or content ideas can give you some breathing room if you create your content in batches, like recording multiple videos over a few hour period. Then you can edit them in another sitting and schedule them out to post over however many days or weeks. This can lessen the inevitable pressure or anxiety that can creep in when trying to be consistent with your content. I started out with this in mind, and then I changed the list, and then I ended up winging it from week to week. Don't do that. It makes things more difficult than they need to be. It's like, oh crap, it's Sunday and I need to post a video. I'll just wing it and fix it in post. It's doable, but far from ideal. It causes unneeded stress, so the lesson is plan ahead. Third item, design and test a process. Creating any content results in forcing you into the role of project manager. You are faced with considering how you're going to manage all of your assets like videos, scripts, text posts, images, etc. And this is directly related to your workflow. What is your folder organization going to look like? Of course, we all have our own ways of managing our content, and you need to do whatever works for you. But for the sake of efficiency, this is something that you should consider in a deliberate manner. There's nothing like working on a project and later realizing you don't know where a certain file is, or it being difficult to find because the file name doesn't describe clearly what it is. An important thing to note here is how you determine your workflow is a fluid process that will constantly change and morph as you become more efficient. So start with a way to organize your work that makes sense to you at that time, and then adapt and change your process as needed. Fourth thing is try and fail. This is an aspect of your reality that as a content creator, you need to just accept. It happens to everybody. It is inevitable. You will fail and you will make plenty of mistakes. Just learn from them and adjust what needs adjusting and move on. For example, did shooting a video in a certain way that you thought would work well end up feeling cumbersome and time-consuming? Just try a different approach next time. You will be constantly repeating this process. You can't escape it. It is just woven into the fabric of your progress. And yes, failure and mistakes can sting, but there is no reason to let them throw you off track. Never beat yourself up over it. Just be proactive, acknowledge the misstep, and learn and be better moving forward. And lastly, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mindset matters here. be comfortable with what you may think might be cringeworthy content. There will be plenty of that, and no use worrying about it. Create, post, and move on to the next thing. You will improve, and you will see over time what type of content performs better. And don't pay attention to all the turds on the internet. They do not provide any value to you, so therefore they are irrelevant to your growth. A more constructive perspective is that you can only feel sorry for them. The fact that they consumed your content and proceed to be a butthole only shows that they must be hurting in some way that prompts them to act out. Remember, you are the one creating, sharing, and putting yourself out there, trolls or not. As you post more consistent content and figure out what your process is and what you like to produce, you can then ask your audience, what content they like and what they would like to see more of. This is most effective if it's clear what what the focus of your content is, unlike me, where my content will be niche hopping a bit as my process develops. Discovering your niche or focusing on the one thing that you are best at, we're going to talk about in the next video. One thing to keep in mind with all of this is that when it comes to creating content, your process, how you go about creating is flexible. Do what feels comfortable and what works for you. Keep at it and you will find your groove. Let us know your takeaways or what your process is like. What are your ideas, tips, or even pitfalls? Please let us know in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you. Bye.